the Draft League Police Department, and the criminals of Draft League City. We usually have something of an understanding with the bigger names in crime, as long as they keep their underlings under control and don't cause too much of a ruckus. We tend to get along just fine. A tenuous peace, if nothing else. But with so many converging on the city in such a short space of time, our orders were now coming from the top. And I mean the very top. Not a lot of people here truly know who the mayor of Draft League City is. Some say he was once a great battler in his own right. Some say he ain't even real at all. A symbol, an idea more than anything. Well, those high up enough in the hierarchy know that he's a reclusive genius. And he's usually more than happy to let these leagues and tournaments happen, as long as the DLPD can keep everyone in line. But with all the strange events of the past few seasons of the Pokémon Premier League, and the influx of high-level criminals this time around, he was taking far more of an interest than he normally would. And I was reporting directly to him. Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, that's right. Our chosen participant has won his first 2 matches so far. Yeah, seems to be going well at the moment. Hard to say, but our sources indicate that Vepsis is making some changes to his team. We think he's going to be far more active in his movements right now. No, sir. We're not sure what Commissioner Elly is up to at the moment, but Coach Shroom will be taking her on imminently. Yeah, hopefully we'll learn more soon. Yeah, I'll be sure to mention that to him, but, you know, I figure he's probably already aware of her copycat shenanigans. They've known each other a long old time. Yes, sir. Of course, sir. I'll be submitting my regular report in the coming days. No, I don't think there's any need for you to make an appearance just yet. Are you sure? It's your call, sir. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good night. That's the last thing we need.
Hello everyone, Shroomraver here and welcome to Pokémon Premier League Season 3 Week 3. Yes indeed, we have got to a great start, 2-0 so far, but things don't get any easier today. We are taking on a good personal friend. It's Commissioner Elly and the Shanghai Dreigons. Now, Detective Striker has informed me that his orders are coming all the way from the top. The mayor of Draft League City himself is involved and looking for progress. He's looking for results, so we've got to try and get them. Elly's team is super threatening. She has Iron Valiant, Dragonite, Crocodile, Rotom-Wash, Mesprit, Meloetta, Mimikyu, Muck, Jolteon, Bastiodon, and Magcargo. A lot of Terra options on there. That Jolteon can go Ice and Fairy. Up until this battle started, I thought it was Ice and Water. I missed that update. Bit of a problem, but we're going to work around it. Bastiodon can go Fighting, Fairy, Ghost, Water, I believe, and Magcargo, Fairy, Water, Grass, and Steel. So a lot of threats on there. The usual plan with this team isn't going to work here, unfortunately. Normally, I like to get things set up for Battle Bond Greninja to come in and do work, but With Iron Valiant having Vacuum Wave, with Dragonite having Extreme Speed with the likes of Rotom Wash that can be very bulky, that Mimikyu with Disguise, you've got Jolteon that naturally outspeeds. That's not going to work this time. So we've got to think a little bit differently. We are still bringing Greninja, but it is Protean with a Wakam Berry. We have Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and Mud Shot. The idea there, it has enough special defense investments. I'm going to quickly look at my team. Big special defense, 168 in special defense going on there. With the Wakam Berry, I will take an electric type hit from Jolteon. I'm assuming it's going to be locked in with a choice item because of its natural speed. Go for a Mud Shot, become a ground type, and go from there and hopefully try and get some big damage on stuff. With that, to help out that, we have Sub Swords Dance, Ogerpon, Cornerstone with Ivy Cudgel and Hornleech. We've got some fairly hefty special defense investment, 112 in there, 144 speed is allowing me just to outpace the Mimikyu, I believe it is. This thing, as always, will hit super hard if I can get a sub up on something. Get a Swords Dance, keep myself healthy with Hornleech. We're not going big speed on this one again because of that Valiant that can Vacuum Wave me if it needs to. We're just going to look for big damage on this guy and hope to just break through the team as early as possible. Now, in order to help with that, this is where we have a little bit of tech. We are bringing a dedicated lead Cell Battery Mew. Here's why. First off, the moves. Dragon Dance, Psychic Fangs, Player from Leech Life. Bug plus Fairy goes quite hard into her team. Psychic Fangs will hit pretty much anything else. Here's the thing with Mew. I'm not bringing my Sandaconda, and I know that she'll be bringing that Jolteon. When she sees no electric immunity, she will lead with Jolteon. She just will. I'm absolutely certain of it. So I will lead with Mew, and when she sees the Mew lead, she will Volt Switch into a counter, whatever that may be. That will activate my Cell Battery, and I will pick Dragon Dance. I will then be at +2 attack, +1 speed, and Mew has a couple of options for jobs. 1, break early, or 2, lure out her setup counter, whatever that may be. If we can pop a red card early, that's great. If we can pop the Disguise on Mimikyu, that would be amazing as well. And we can then hopefully save Mew to do some work later on if it can get a setup later as well. So Mew is going to be quite important here in just disrupting Elly's anti-setup, is basically the thing there. To help out, we have Citrus Berry Grimmsnarl coming in here, a very specially defensive set. We've got 244 in special defense, 64 HP, 184 attack, Adamant Nature, Spirit Break, Crunch, Reflect, and Parting Shot. Especially defensive with Reflect to mitigate as much of her mixed offense as we can. This will do very nicely against either of her psychic types that she might want to bring. Mesprit more likely than Meloetta. And get some special attack drops if she wants to get ballsy with some of her special attackers. Get a Reflect up on the likes of the Dragonite, the Crocodile, the Muck, something like this, maybe even that Bastiodon. Bastiodon and Magcargo, I don't know if I expect them, but I am taking them seriously as genuine defensive threats. So we need something to try and break through things as well, and on the special side we have Colberberry Chandelure here. This is max special attack modest with 240 in defense, just enough left over in speed to creep anything that might want to creep me. Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, and Will-O-Wisp. This thing will take any couple of hits from the Iron Valiant, and she doesn't have great switch-ins to the combination of Fire Blast and Shadow Ball. Energy Ball basically on there for stuff like the Rotom and the Crook if she wants to bring them in like raw on me. Flame Body, she doesn't have a massive amount of fire offense, so if I can snag a cheeky Flame Body burn on like the Dragonite, again the Crook, the Muck, the Mimikyu maybe, that would be absolutely grand. Finally, we have Loaded Dice, Scale Shot, Swords Dance, Iron Head, Earthquake, Haxorus. This thing has Mold Breaker, that will allow me to break through Mimikyu's Disguise with Iron Head, if at all possible. Yeah, this is hopefully an endgame sweeper. I'm hoping that when it comes to a busted Disguise Mimikyu, or indeed that Iron Valiant, she won't necessarily want to risk switching in on an Iron Head and just catching major damage from this Haxorus, if I can predict right. So that's the thinking behind Haxorus. I've got that as an ideal endgame sweeper over the usual Battlebond Greninja. But yeah, that's the team I'm bringing against Elly. Let's get right into the battle and see what she decided to bring against me. So, as you can see, Elly has decided to bring Muck, Iron Valiant, Dragonite, Crocodile, Jolteon, and Mimikyu. None of the Psychic types going on there, none of those like lower tier defensive threats going on, just power and pain, really. Either way, I'm predicting that Jolteon lead. My decision doesn't change. We're going to lead Mew and see if it can do some jobs early game. So, here we go with the battle starting off against Elly and the Shanghai Dreigons. As you'll see, there she is. She is going to lead with the Jolteon. It's exactly as we anticipated. Mew is going to hit the field. Now, if she is Scarfed, I will take 2 Shadow Balls if she decides to go for that. If she is Specs, I will be Dragon Dancing and Outspeeding. But, as we predict, she does go for the Volt Switch right off the bat. We get our Cell Battery. So, our attack is now at +1. I don't think she'll have been expecting that. From that damage, it's looking like she is in fact Timid Choice Specs. So at +1 we will be outpacing, and that's quite lovely. Now, her switch-ins to this potentially might be the Crook if she's Intimidate to just mitigate that Cell Battery. She might even go into the Mimikyu early game. It doesn't look like anything else really wants to take this on right now. So her immediate answer is going to be that Crocodile. As you'll see, the Intimidate is going to come in right here, right now, but we are going to go for Dragon Dance. So the Cell Battery has mitigated the Intimidate. Mew is now at +1/+1 and doesn't have an item for her to knock off anymore. So we're looking in a really good position early game for Mew to do some work. Now, I clicked Leech Life in case she wanted to stay in so I could try and break early, but the other job it had was to disrupt her anti-setup, and in comes the Mimikyu. We're going to go for the Leech Life. That is going to break her Disguise, which is what we wanted early on, and just to add insult to injury, this, as you'll see, is that red Cardmon. So Mew has actually done both of those things. It's got out her red Cardmon and it's broken Disguise on Mimikyu, and once again, red card puts us right into Ogerpon. This is a great position for us to be in. I'm going to click sub here just in case she wants to try and status me, Thunder Wave, Willow, any of those things, just to try and scout out what this thing wants to do to me. So she is just going to go for the Shadow Sneak. That is going to do around 80-ish, 70-ish points of damage, and we are going to get a sub up. Now, I don't know why I don't click Terra here. It makes no sense to me. I don't know why I wouldn't do this. For some reason, I'm really reticent to click Terra, even though it's my only option. I am just going to click Ivy Cudgel. She is going to go for Shadow Sneak. That is going to break my sub, unfortunately. And really, with the defense boost, would it have broken? Hard to say, but either way, Ivy Cudgel is going to come in right about now. Here we go, and the damage is going to be a lot. If I'd have Terra'd there, I might actually have maintained my sub and killed her right off the bat, and I'd have been in a much better position. Massive oversight on my part. She is going to go for the Shadow Sneak once again just to get that chip damage. I'm just going to go for Horn Leech. That's going to get a little bit of health back on my Ogerpon, and we do draw First Blood, which is really nice. We're not at a great amount of health, but very crucially that Mimikyu has gone down, and that is one of her big anti-setup mons out of the way. Now in comes the consummate threat once again. It is that Jolteon. Ogerpon's back to actually being on screen. It was a bit far away there, don't know why. I don't switch into this thing, especially if it is that Terra Fairy. So realistically, the play with this team has always been just to hit what's in front of me. I was kind of anticipating her, like I say, to be Choice Specs from the damage earlier, and if she just predicts my switch into the Chandelure on like a Alluring Voice, that's going to be a problem. So I'm just going to stay in here and see if we can catch her going for a Volt Switch maybe, and try and live that hit and get a big hit off on whatever comes in. Now, as it is, Elly is going to Terra on up here. No sense in her not being Terra Fairy. The combination of Fairy and Electric goes really well into me across the board. So, no real surprise there, and if she's going for Terra Blast or Alluring Voice, this is going to take me out, and there indeed is the Terra boosted Alluring Voice. Ogerpon is going to go down here. I misplayed not going for the Terra on the Mimikyu. That was on me, a silly oversight on my part, but down goes Ogerpon, and now we have to go into something to best take on Terra Fairy Jolteon, locked into Specs Alluring Voice. Now, Chandelure is the fairly obvious play here. The only things that actively want to come in on a Fire Blast are the Dragonite, which I'll break Multiscale on, and the Muck, which will be the best thing to take it on. Like, I'm going to click Fire Blast. I nearly clicked Will-O-Wisp, and that might have been a better play, but if that Muck is coming in, I want big damage. So Fire Blast is going to be the move, and we'll see exactly how well built the assumed Muck is going to be. So Jolteon is going to get out of dodge, no surprise there, and in is going to come Gooning. Great nicknames, Elly, as always. That's going to be the Muck. So Fire Blast. Going to come in here, modest max special attack, that does just under half, which is a little bit unfortunate. I do kind of want to maintain the illusion of me being choiced. I think that she might have expected a choice Scarf set. And looking at my team, she's not been shy of bringing Toxic Spikes against teams with grounded poisons. Since I don't have a grounded poison on my team today, I really think that's what she's going to go for. So I'm going to try and get proactive and go into something that can do big setup damage or prevent damage later on down the line. So calling back the Sommelier, and we're going to go offensive, bit balls to the wall. We're going to go into Mew. A knockoff won't be doing too much, I don't have my item. She's going to be bulky, and that is indeed going to be T-Spike Central. Now, I am going to click Dragon Dance here. I have no reason not to do this. A knockoff into a Shadow Sneak will not take me out from this range, especially if she has no attack investment. So Dragon Dance, gonna be the play of choice. I'll be outspeeding anything that wants to come in on me and can get some big hits off and see if Mew can do even more breaking in this kind of early to mid game stage. So Muck is going to get out of there. It has no sense staying in, and it can do good work later on against my Greninja. Elly's going to go very offensive. She's going to go into her Jolteon as I go for a Dragon Dance and really wish that I was adamant. Because that would have made this an absolute wrap, but Elly's very good at building ones to take a hit. There is every chance that she will take this +1 Psychic Fangs, but there's also the chance that she might go down. Jolteon is not the most physically defensive. I'm going to lock in on Psychic Fangs. I need this thing to take big damage, and if I can Oko it, that would be monumentally good, but we're just going to have to wait and see if that happens. So, Psychic Fangs coming in hot, and it's achingly close. We do a good amount of damage. She is going to Volt Switch, and that's actually not going to take me out from there, which is good, but unfortunately she has the likes of Extreme Speed Dragonite, you know, Shadow Sneak, Muck, even maybe that Iron Valiant could take me out with its priority. So Mew has pretty much run its race. It is going to be the Dragonite to come in. I am going to just lock in on a move here, just in case she doesn't go for Extreme Speed, thinking that that multi-scale will save her. I am going to go for Psychic Fangs, not to proc a potential weakness policy, but the Extreme Speed is going to come in, that's going to take out the little man, and Dragonite maintains its multi-scale. Now, Grimmsnarl is going to be the play of choice here. We are going to take a bit of toxic damage, or poison damage from the spikes, I should say. This seems as good a time as any to just go for a Reflect. The Crook could come in on the Parting Shot, the Muck could come in on the Spirit Break. So Reflect is going to be the play here, just to make sure that I can mitigate those physical attacks that are probably going to be coming my way pretty soon. So Elly is going to withdraw good old Giga Chad here, proving that it's probably Heavy Duty Boots and not the weakness policy. In is going to come the Muck, and psych, we go for Crunch. I figured that the Muck would be coming in, and I wanted to take it out before it could get another layer of T-Spikes up, but unfortunately is going to get that Citrus Berry back. We do get a defense drop though, so there is potential that Crunch might be able to take it out from here. We're just going to have to wait and see if that comes to pass. And she is going to switch out of there, knowing that another Crunch would take her out. She is going to make the play into the next best thing to take me on, which is the Crocodile. Gets the attack drop, so my Crunch will be doing nothing, and swerved again. We go for Reflect, I predicted that. I actually did think that she'd want to save the Muck, because it's still going to be useful against the likes of Greninja, and maybe even take a hit from a Chandelure on a prediction. So we do get a Reflect up, that's quite nice. And I can go for a Spirit Break here. I can't Parting Shot, obviously. I am at -1, but the Spirit Break will still be doing a good chunk to Crocodile, so that's what we're going to lock in on, see if we can't do some big damage behind a Reflect. Now, Elly's going to get her rocks up. She, like me, has no removal on her team, but she knows that those hazards are going to be super helpful. I'm going to go for the Spirit Break here, and as you see, that is going to do pretty much bang on half. We get a special attack drop, obviously that doesn't matter to a Crocodile. So we get a good half damage on her, which is super nice. Another Spirit Break, it's looking like might be able to take this thing out. But Elly sees it coming. She doesn't want to lose her Crook just yet. That Intimidate could be useful later on against like the Haxorus. She's going to go back into her Muck as we go for a Spirit Break. Now Muck is going to take that. He's going to take it very well indeed. We get another special attack drop. Obviously it's Spirit Break, but it's a Muck. That doesn't matter. Now at this point, the Reflector's still up. I kind of have to go for a Crunch, probably. I don't want to switch anything in right about now, and it's looking like a Crunch might take it out. As you can see, I have Reflect left for a little bit, so I'm going to go for the Crunch and see if we can't get rid of this Muck before we can get up more T-Spikes, just to really irritate me. So Crunch is going to come in, and it's going to live on a smidge, and I think that was a low roll, potentially. Either way, we're going to have to deal with it, because that's the second layer of T-Spikes up. Very unfortunate. Big Tony Valley here is taking more damage than I would like. And I believe this is where we get our Citrus Berry. So that mitigates it a little bit, which is nice. I think this is where the Reflect might wear off, or I might have one turn left. Either way, I just need to get rid of this Muck. Now Spirit Break will do for the Muck, even on a resisted hit. We are going to take it out. But Muck has really done all the damage it can getting those T-Spikes up. That is going to be a big problem for my team. I can't afford to make this battle drag on any more than it already has. There goes my Reflect, but Grimmsnarl's time on this Mortal Coil is now severely limited. Now the Crook is going to come in here. Good play on Elly's part, she gets the Intimidate, and that does mean that she has a very good chance of living a Spirit Break, but I want to get my Reflect back up instead, so that is what I'm going to do. Grimmsnarl, I'm going to go for Reflect. Elly is just going to go for the Earthquake and take me down to very low health. Now Grimmsnarl will go down to whatever happens next. And here I make a bit of an odd play, I will grant you. I'm going to click Crunch, which seems to make no sense because she has Dragonite and 2 Fairies in the back. Why would I go for Crunch? Well, because I wanted to try and use this Crocodile to get a scale shot off with my Haxorus. And again, I understand that looking back, that makes very little sense because she has 2 Fairies, but at the back of my mind I was still thinking, does she want to risk switching in on an Iron Head? It made sense in my head at the time. Maybe on hindsight it doesn't, but we'll have a look and see if it works out. Either way, Crunch is going to be my play against the Crook. Now Elly is going to go for Rocks here, which I thought was a bit of an odd one, but in an equally odd turn I go for Crunch and this doesn't really work out. I don't get very much damage. Grimmsnarl is going to go down. Very unfortunate, we lose Grimmsnarl when I could have got a big hit off with Spirit Break. But either way, it is now 3v4. All of my 3 are at full health. We're going to go into Haxorus here and kind of hope that she wants to sack off this Crocodile so I can get a scale shot in. And Elly sees it coming a mile away. If I'd have packed Dragon Dance, things might have been different, but she is going to make the offensive switch hard into her Iron Valiant. Scale shot not going to work. In hindsight, what I should have done there instead of going into Haxorus was gone into Greninja. But yeah, a series of plays around this time in the game where I just didn't do what I should have done. And we get nothing out of that turn, and Elly gets a free swap into Iron Valiant. Now, I do have Chandelure at full health, which is nice. It's been built to try and take on this Iron Val, but now that there are rocks up, I'm not going to be able to do it with any degree of reliability. But I have to go into it, I don't have a choice. There is a Moonblast coming my way and there is nothing I can do about that. So, going to call Haxorus on back here, and we're going to go into Chandelure. Now, this should be taking any hit from this Iron Val. But with the poison, with the rocks, let's see how well it does. There is a Moonblast coming my way, and we do tank it fairly nicely. Another one is actually going to take me out from there though because of the Toxic Spikes and because of the rocks. But we have maintained the illusion of being Choice Scarfed, and that is not going to be very good for her staying in if I am. So I'm actually thinking she's going to want to get on out of there and probably sack off the Crocodile at this point. So Elly is going to withdraw on out of there with Val, and she is indeed going to go into that Crocodile to sack it off. The Intimidate obviously is not going to matter to me, and we are going to land the Fire Blast, and Chandelure is going to get on the scoreboard for the season with a kill over the Crocodile. Now, there is still the opportunity for me to bluff a choice item here, And what that means is, with the Reflect gone, the Dragonite is likely going to come in. And I can try and do something from there if that happens. And so it is that the Dragonite hits the field. Would tank this Fire Blast very easily, but of course I'm not choiced. The likelihood is that she will be outpacing me, but I'm going to try and get a Will-O-Wisp off anyway. And as you see, she's going to go for Roost, predicting me to be choiced and trying to Toxic Storm me out, essentially. Which she's done before to great effect, I think, against Seabad. But we are going to get a Willow off onto the Dragonite. That means its multi-scale is forever broken, which is delightful. But she's going to be able to take us out with pretty much anything following this. Chandeler's race is very much run. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball, just in case we can get some nice big damage off onto this. And try and maybe win it with Greninja. That might be the only way we can. Now, Elly's actually going to withdraw. I didn't see this coming. And she's going to go into the Iron Valiant. Now, this thing does not have great special defense. We're going to go for the Shadow Ball, and that is going to do so very much damage. We get a special defense drop, which isn't going to matter because we're going down. What's interesting is that she is Eject Pack, so I'm guessing mixed with Close Combat. I was anticipating a mixed set, but not with Close Combat. I was thinking knockoff. But she is going to get forced out into Bark Tour. That is going to be the Jolteon. Now, Jolteon outspeeds my last two mons. It's Terra Fairy. It hits them both super effectively. The only chance I really have here is to go hard into Greninja and try and bluff a Scarf set. So Greninja is going to come straight on in, and this is the point where I start supremely regretting having Hydro Pump over Water Shuriken. Now, Elly is scared out by the potential Scarf or Water Shuriken. She is going to go into the Dragonite. Now, I actually clicked Mud Shot here, in a vain hope that she might have gone for an electric type attack. It doesn't matter because the Dragonite's going to be immune to it. And from here, I just have to try and basically get differential because I don't have any way of boosting my speed on Greninja, and she's not going to let it happen with Scale Shot on my Haxorus. So I just kind of have to go for Ice Beam here and hope that with my quite limited special attack investment, it OHKOs the Dragonite from this range. Now Elly's going to go for a Burned E-Speed. That's going to do basically nothing to Greninja. I'm going to go for the Ice Beam, and that is not going to take out the Dragonite. Very, very unfortunate there. I was really hoping it would, and as you see, the burn is going to take it down to what must be one hit point. At this point, it's pretty much game over. I mean, I don't really know what to say about this. I'm going to make the switch into my Haxorus because my only way of winning is if she properly chokes here and goes for Roost to try and once again Toxic Stall out this Greninja. So yeah, I'm going to make the play into Haxorus and hope that she roosts. So, going to pull on back Greninja, just praying to see Roost, just really, really hoping to see Roost. We take the Rocks damage, and what do you know, Mold Breaker doesn't matter. Elly is a much better player than that. She's just going to go for the extreme speed, knowing that it was a lost cause on Dragonite. We're going to take a bit of poison damage, and the Dragonite is going to go down to the burn. So another KO picked up for Chandelure, which I guess is nice, but from here she has a Specs Jolteon and an Iron Valiant. The Jolteon outspeeds both my mons, the Valiant outspeeds this and has priority for the Greninja. She's going to go into Valiant to stat pad it, basically, which, why wouldn't you at this point? Yeah, it's pretty much game. I'm going to go for the Iron Head, just kind of hoping that, I don't know, she throws. Seems unlikely. And yeah, she's going to go for Moonblast and take out Haxorus here. Unfortunate, down goes Haxorus without troubling the scoreboard, and all I have left is a half health Greninja. So we're just going to go into it, and once again, I'm just cursing myself for running Hydro Pump, because I'll outspeed this Valiant, but like she's going to have Vacuum Wave. Like she's going to. There's no reason why she wouldn't when I've got a Greninja kicking around. I'm going to click Hydro just in case she stuffs up and doesn't go for a Vacuum Wave, but Elly is a better player than that, as we know. She is going to go for Vacuum Wave. That's going to take out Greninja. Iron Valiant cleaning up the game from there, and that is going to be the game. Yeah. I'll be the first to say it. I'm sure that people watching on watch parties and watching on YouTube and just checking out this video will know for themselves. Not happy with myself on that. Not happy with some of the plays I made in the game. Really not happy with my prep work. To take nothing away from Elly, she brought a very good team. She brought a very good strategy. She's a very good player, and she fully deserved that win. Yeah, not really. I mean, part of it's my own stupid fault for not checking up on the terror changes. That was on me. I missed that. I have to take accountability for not paying close enough attention to seeing Terra Jolteon. Running Scale Shot into a team with 2 fairies and a Terra Fairy Mon, all of which were very offensive threats. Running Scale Shot on Haxorus was stupid. I should have run Dragon Dance. That was on me. But the big, real problem for my team building was not running Water Shuriken on Greninja. Like, we saw the threats. We saw the threat of Vacuum Wave, Iron Val. We saw the threat of Jolteon outpacing. Why I didn't run Water Shuriken is beyond me. It was a boneheaded decision that I have to take full responsibility for. I should have been running it, and I didn't. And that cost us the game. If we had Water Shuriken in that endgame, we did win, because we would have, her big threats were at very low health. We could have taken them out. Also in the game, not tearing Ogerpon. I don't know why I'm so averse to tearing Ogerpon when I have no reason not to. That was dumb, because I could have come out behind a sub and done awful, horrible things with Ogerpon. It was just... I prepped badly, and I played badly, and that is all on me. There's nothing really to be said about it. It was not well done by me. And again, to take nothing away from Elly, she played a very, very good game. And remember, her links are down in the description. Make sure you check them out. As I understand it, she is on her way to 3K subs, so let's get her there. She fully deserves it. She's a great personal friend of mine within this community. Fun fact, she's the first person I met within this community, so we go back a decade. Check her out, do all those things. And of course, everyone else in the league, their links are down there as well. But yeah, we just have to kind of pick ourselves up and move on from this. It was a badly played game. We just got to put it behind us. We're still 2-1. We're still at +2 diff. We're still in a good position on the table. Things don't get any easier. We are facing next week, arguably one of the best to do it. A lot of people will have their favourites for this season, and I think Mountay will be a lot of people's favourite. He went unbeaten in the regular season last season, lost in the final to Addison, made semis in Season 1. He is just a very good player with a very good team, and we have to take him on. We have to put this mess behind us and try and bounce back, and basically claim an upset win. But that's going to be a story for another time. I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for far too long. So, my final thank you to you all for watching, and I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.